Hello there. Sleep well? No. Bus ride's still going? Yeah. We still have... let me check. Like 3 more hours of bus ride to go before we reach the hotel. Yeah. The outside is nice though. Yeah. We'll get there by like late evening. We'll have to go find something to eat. So. You sleep well. That was nice. Yeah. Man, you look tired. You're like, come on, get away. Very nice, very good. Come snuggle up. You look like you could do with a few more hours of sleep. Right? I know you were excited and stayed up all night yesterday. So excited for this trip. But hey, that's just how it is. I can't blame you. I did the same. The only reason I'm awake right now is because I had a lot of coffee. Yeah. Sun's already setting. It's quite nice outside. But I can't wait to be out of this seat. Honestly, sitting on my ass for like 7-8 hours is... You just gotta stretch your legs at some point. Yeah, I do have to say, I can't wait to flop into the bed and snuggle up with you. It's been a long day, and traveling is always much more exhausting. Excuse me, much more exhausting than you think. Oh, did I make you yawn too? Sorry. Those damn mirror neurons doing their job. You know, it's actually quite interesting. There's a part of our brain dedicated to looking at other people's behavior and mimicking it. There's some theories that say that that's how we learn, like, general skills just by watching others. Is that the mirror neurons, like, make you emulate it, and then you can kind of learn from there. That's why even after having just seen something done once, you can sometimes just do it. Even though you've never done it before. That's, if you think about it, that's quite the feat. Like, no learning curve, no learning time. You see someone do a weird movement and you can just kind of do it. The flip side, of course. Flip side, of course, is you can't really shut your mirror neurons off. You're always subconsciously perceiving the people around you and mimicking them. There's some very interesting studies of, like, if one person sits on a stage in front of a large group of people and they cross their legs, then subconsciously, like, half of the people in the audience will also cross their legs, and most of them the same leg over the same other leg. It's kind of funky. But that's also why when you hear someone else yawn, it makes you want to yawn. And I have the issue that even just thinking about it or saying the word yawn makes me want to yawn. Man, I hate it. Conditioning. Behavioristic conditioning. You look pretty sleepy still. I guess I'll just keep talking about whatever. You can just pass back out again. How about that? Look at you. Now then, let's see. How about I tell you about what's something super duper boring. Let's see. So, numbers exist. They do funny shit, such as counting. Yes. Did you know you can count on your hands? Now, this might come as a surprise, but did you know you can count on your hands higher than 10? Yeah. So, if you employ a kind of binary counting, then your hands can do 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 120, 256, 512, 1024. You can count to 1023 just with your hands if you do it in binary. Yep. Just treat each of your fingers being raised or lowered as a 0 or a 1, and then write it out in binary. Yeah. If you want to be extra evil, you can take out your thumb out of the equation. Only use 4 fingers on each hand. And you're like, okay, we're reducing the amount of fingers. Well, reason being, now with your thumb you can point to the different segments on each of your finger. And each finger has 3 segments. So that means one hand can count to 12. And you have 2 hands. So, like, you can count really high. What would that even be called? Like, there's hexadecimal, which is for 16. What's 12? It's not dodeca, because that's 20. Hexadecimal. No. Man, I'm stumped. I can't figure it out. I know the word for it, but I don't have it in my head. Oh well. Hey, you can count really damn high with just your hands. Now, if only I was any good at maths, I could actually use this skill. Oh, mathematics. Such beauty, such joy, so much elegance, and so much just everythingness. And yet the people writing it can't, like, just don't. Just don't. Mathematician finds cool new formula that requires them to repeatedly write a whole bunch of things. Okay, let's replace this constant repeating of the same thing with some symbol. Sounds simple enough, sounds sensible. It is sensible. Now, it would be a lot more sensible if you then sat down and went, what is a symbol that somehow reasonably, like, represents the thing? I'm not just going to take, like, a letter that's the first letter of my name. I'm not just going to take a Greek letter that's the first letter of the thing I'm repeating, looking at you, Sigma, for summation. And instead, I'm going to think of some notation that, like, actually, like, visually makes sense and, like, makes it easy to read what the fuck is going on. Like, logarithms, roots, and exponents, all three are written completely differently, yet they're all the same fucking thing. As in, the three operations go into each other. And yet they're written completely differently. It took me very long to realize that. They just, like, reverse each other. Like, sure, roots and exponents you learn pretty much immediately in school, usually, that those reverse each other, but, like, that you can figure out the rest of it, the other half, using the logarithm? That was news to me. But also, like I said, I'm not good at maths. I'm good at any maths that can be visualized. Like vector maths. I'm good at vector maths. Vector maths are fun. Geometry. I'm almost pretty good at geometry. But, like, yeah. And then you get to Mr. Laplace and his fucking shenanigans of, I'm gonna make formulas that for some fucking reason are best executed on a computer. Mind you, the guy existed long before computers. It's like, I'm gonna make a thing that is really, really simple. It's just the same set of operations repeated a bajillion times depending on the problem, and gives you a result, and it's guaranteed to give you a result. However, like, if you want to calculate it by hand, prepare to calculate a lot. But then again, it being a repeated step of all of the same stuff makes by hand calculation not difficult. Not difficult at all, actually. You remember one pattern and you're done. The problem is more, it's boring. Because you're repeating the same thing again and again and again. Like, Laplace's interpolation for third-degree curves or higher. The way it works, the reason why it works, and how it works, is satisfying as hell. Because, like, if you visualize all of the subcurves, you get these curves that, like, hit exactly one at the points that they're supposed to interpolate at, and then other values. And specifically, they hit 0 in other values. And just in between, it's just the rest of the curve. But because of this, that means if you take these and mix all of them, and then you weight them by the height of the points, because that's exactly what you want. So 1 multiplied by the height of the point gives you the height of the point, because you multiplied it by 1. Shocker, I know. And then something else multiplied by 0 gives you, shocker, again, 0, because you multiplied it by 0, means that you now have a whole bunch of curves that smoothly go into each other, because you're smoothing out the values in between them by having smaller functions that smooth them out like that. It's really nice. It's really simple, And to do it programmatically is also relatively easy, because you just, like, you iterate through all of the points, and then you make all of the permutations minus the thingy for the point, and then you're done. You're just done. It's really nice. It's satisfying. Can recommend. I'm one of those people that'll sit down in a digital, like, online graphing calculator and draw graphs because they're pretty and they're neat. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I thought I couldn't start properly rambling, but oh, look at you. We have your eyes shut. I know this is a little bit boring, but yeah. You get your well-deserved rest. I'm gonna keep rambling. So, like, Laplace interpolation, really just nice. It's really nice, and it's also nice to implement with a computer. Then there's the Newton version. I think it was Newtonian, Newton's interpolation for third degree curves or higher, which is, again, it's nice. I personally like it more to calculate by hand because it's more exciting. It's more error prone because it's more exciting. And if you don't visualize it properly on like a piece of paper, then you're going to screw yourself over. But it's nice. It works. Both of them work. You know. Man, I could really go for a snack right now. We ran out of fucking snacks 2 hours ago when I ate them all. Sorry for eating all of the snacks, by the way. Whoops. But, like, yeah. I'm still hungry, can you believe it? What a glutton I am. I'll eat you up. You're the next snack I'll eat. How? Nom nom nom. How? Yeah. Very nice. Where was I? Right. Conditioning. That's totally where I was. I didn't go on an entire tangent about interpolating curves, points to a curve. Don't worry about it. So, we have the joys of conditioning. Yeah. So, in general, your body has natural responses to stimuli. So, like, if I punch you in the face, that'll hurt, and you will react accordingly. It's a very simple example. Now, if I also started to scream, I don't know, I start screaming nail polish, just the word nail polish, and then I punched you. And every time I screamed the word nail polish, I would then punch you. Then eventually, and because in this case we're talking about punching, which is quite spooky, and some screaming, which is extra spooky, and pain, which is extra spooky, it'll probably be enough if I do it once or twice that I can then just scream nail polish, and without doing anything, you'll flinch and brace yourself, expecting a punch. I don't know why the example is me punching you. That's really not a nice example. Let's go for something pleasant. Every single time that you are sleepy, that you feel like you need some company, or maybe just some sounds in the background to let you fall asleep. Wow, the fucking shift in tone from "I'm gonna punch you" to just some talking to put you to sleep. Yeah, good job, Karen, good job. Okay, so the what was I? Conditioning. Right. You're sleepy. You want something nice and calming. Someone talking to you, nice and calming, relaxes you. And then you can sleep. That's the normal stimulus response. Now, what if every time you listen to calming stuff and then peacefully and comfortably went to sleep, every single time you saw a weird eldritch horror in the guise of a fox creature thingy-majig, just kinda like on your screen, would you at some point look at that creature and then your brain connects it to being sleepy, being relaxed perhaps? Maybe. I mean, it depends. I don't think I make videos regularly enough and that people actually listen to them often enough for any kind of meaningful conditioning scenario to occur, because consistency is key, and especially depending on like what kind of stimulus it is, what kind of response it is, and also just some other stuff like the strength of the conditioned response is different. Like, yeah, the previous example of punching, like, there's pain involved, there's fear involved. Your brain makes those connections fast, like really, really fast, because it wants to avoid that stuff like hell. And so, like, your brain just makes those connections really fast, and also they get removed way, 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 way slower. Like, yeah. Meanwhile, weaker responses, peaceful, nice responses, oftentimes don't make any connection at all on the first go, and only really start to make a connection if you really keep at it. Of course, this does change depending on response, as well as varying by individual. Something that is a positive stimulus for one person can be a negative stimulus for another person. Something that's a positive response for one person is a negative response for another person. There is no general truth here. Like, if you really dislike, I don't know, cheese, you just don't like cheese, then giving you cheese is not going to be a reward. It might even be a punishment. Whereas if you really, really loved cheese, then yeah, I could give you cheese and it would count as a reward. Like if I gave you a nice piece of cheese every single time that you listen to one of these videos. Is this bribing? No, because I'm already bribing you. You're watching this video, and you're like, still watching it, and I'm holding you captive, because you're on the window seat, and I'm on the hallway seat, because I let you have the better seat. But that also means you can't leave unless I get up, or you climb over me, I guess, but look at you. Look at how tired you are. You're not going anywhere. You're just gonna lean and cuddle right up so cute. Come on, how can it be so cute? So yeah, what if, as a reward, I called you something nice? What if you treat yourself? Can you condition yourself? Yes, you can. If you do it repeatedly and you do it actively, you can 100% condition yourself. In fact, I've done it to myself. And you'd be surprised what kind of weird shit you can condition yourself to do. Just by sticking with it for a bit. And then at some point you do it automatically. And whoop-de-doo, oops, you've created self-sustaining behavior, now you've conditioned yourself. So, yeah. You ever just dissociate? Yeah? What if you intentionally combined a trigger with that you did every single time that you dissociated? Would you be able to then, while not dissociating, do the trigger, do the stimulus, whatever, I'm not going to use the constant terminology, whatever, do the triggering stimulus and then cause yourself to dissociate artificially, even though you weren't previously? The answer is yes, because I've done that to myself. Somehow it works. Don't ask me how. Not because I don't know the answer, but because I know the answer exactly and I just told you how, so don't ask me how. You know how. By doing it for like 2.5 years, constantly. And at some point it was just conditioned into me, and oops. And now I can dissociate on command. What a useful skill. You know what I've used these powers for? Long bus rides like these. If I don't have a cutie like you sitting next to me that I can ramble to and give headpats to and tease. It's like, you have a long bus ride? Cool. Dissociate on command, and by the time you undissociate and your perception of time properly returns, bus ride's over. You haven't really made any memories about it either, because you were dissociating. It's like, nice. Need to pass, like, I literally have the video game skip time feature because I conditioned it into myself. It's fucking stupid. I love it. Anyways. Side tangent aside, haha. I'm pretty sleep deprived. I'm just gonna be rambling. Let me check the time again. And you look at that, it's been half an hour already. Only 2.5 hours left. Can you believe it? Yeah. When I'm doing something, I'm talking to you. And hey, now I know what I'm doing. I just looked out the window and you know what I spotted? I spotted a restaurant. Well, not a restaurant, a fast food chain. Yeah. Now, I know, pretty weird to encounter a fast food chain in the middle of literally nowhere on a basically empty tour bus that is driving to like some hotel via a route through the void. yeah, apparently somebody built a fast food chain in some random corner of the void, I guess because there was a road here. Like, I don't know of a whole lot of other eldritch beings that, like, take this bus. I mean, like, look around. There's the bus driver, who's just literally a shadow, and then the bus is empty. It's just the two of us. Half the time I'm not even sure if the bus driver's there. Some of these road bits are so just straight line. The bus might as well just, the driver might as well just put a brick on the gas and just let it roll. But at least the sights are nice. Void's not all empty. Kind of betraying its name, honestly, but like, hey. Can't all be nothing. There's got to be something in there, and even nothing's something. Now that's something to wrap your mind around, and then wrap around it again, and then unwrap it, and then unravel it, and then wrap it around again. Yeah. Now if you counted the wraps and unwraps, you're still wrapped around it once. Yeah. Just like you're still wrapped up in that nice travel blanket in my arms. Come here. Come here, you cutie. This video is ridiculous. Yes, I'm just going to keep breaking the fourth wall because as Eldritch Horror, the fourth wall does not matter to me. Yep. I see you. I know you're listening to this. Yeah. And it's lovely. Thanks for being here. It's very nice of you. Oh, look at you. It's time to doze off again. Oh. Perhaps I should pick something a little less energetic to let you properly sleep. Yeah. Perhaps I'll just mumble about the void a little. Yeah. So, there's a space between spaces. You might have heard before that an atom is mostly empty space, that the space between it is also mostly empty space, and that there's forces keeping stuff together in between. But nothing ever really touches. Well, in that empty space, in between it, in between two bits of empty space, there is the void. The space between spaces. Quite literally. Now, you might think it's empty. You might think, if it's a space between spaces, but those spaces are like the empty spaces between atoms, isn't that like really tiny? It's like, yeah. However, one, this is non-Euclidean space, so you can kind of walk in a circle for 2 hours and still end up somewhere else. But also, additionally to just non-Euclidean shenanigans, well, the void is quite large, because there's quite a lot of space between spaces. In fact, the void is technically just as vast as the universe itself. But that also means there's plenty of space for weird shit. That's how you get creatures like me. Like, yeah, I'm a fluffy fox right now, but my true form is more like a pointy rock. Like a pointy, like 7-point-something dimensional rock. How do you do fractional dimensions? Good fucking question. Fractals. There you go. Yeah. Lots and lots of weird things in here. So, I'm not the only creature of the void. Though I do have to say most of them are barely sentient. You have a lot of things that are like, not like animals, they're more like natural phenomena. And you get a lot of things that are just like, you know, like a rock or a river flowing, except said river is flowing in like 4 different directions in a very specific and very complex pattern due to whatever the fuck the reason may be, and it ends up creating something resembling sentience just out of pure emergent behavior. So that's neat. There's a few of those actually. The liquid ones I call water elementals. Even though they're not made out of water, nor are they really elemental in any way, but they're emergent beings of void water? Question mark? So I mean, they might as well be water elementals. Who fucking knows? I certainly don't. I barely know what I am. Like I said, my true form is kind of just a pointy rock, like a shard or something. There's more of me, by the way. I'm not the only me. There's other shards. They too can take on different shapes. We all generally have the same color scheme. And our true forms are always some random shard. But, like, not all of us are Fluffy Fox. Yeah. Not all of us, not all of us. My fourth wall senses are tingling, and they're telling me that you did not expect a random lore dump from sleep-deprived old me. I don't know why I said old there. I'm not particularly old. Not that time really has any bearing in a space like this. Well, it does, but there's plenty of things that move through time backwards or just sideways. How do you move sideways through time? Again, don't ask, I don't know. I can barely comprehend it myself, as I experience time the same way you do. I have once encountered something that almost experiences our time. A very funky creature. It's kind of like just a floating orb, but it experiences time linearly. As in perfectly linearly. As in time dilation does not exist for it. Which certainly has some really weird effects, because as it turns out, a lot of time dilation has happened since the beginning of time, which might as well just be a theoretical point at some point. But for the purposes of this explanation, let's just say the beginning of time relative to the orb. And so it like, things have shifted a lot for it, and it can do some really weird movements that seem unnatural, but that's because it's weird. I can't really describe it. An orb doesn't have a lot of movements it can do anyways, and like, again, we're in the void, like a floating glowing orb. is not exactly weird in any way. There's so many orbs. I wonder if there's any significance to them being orbs. Do spheres just kind of like to form in here? Now that's an interesting hypothesis, but then what does that mean for me not being a sphere? Okay, I can't help but kind of laugh at that one. Did I just go ahead and go like, hey, in this weird extra-dimensional space that kind of defies common knowledge, why am I not a sphere? What the fuck kind of... what the fuck kind of questioning is that? What am I even doing here? Anyways. So yeah. Now. And I mean, back to the whole shards thing. Like I said, my true form is a pointy rock. However, like, I chose this form. I can choose different forms if I want to. Yeah. The few times I manifest outside of the void, let's say VR chat, you ever see me in different avatars? It's all the same chart, just shape changed. Yep, that's the in-law explanation for that. That's just how that works. Imagine just random ass lord hump. Nobody asked her for this. No one. I'm just doing it anyways. This is such a long ride, man. Such a long ride. I think I'm gonna pass out myself at some point. Or I'll just keep rambling, half aware. Which reminds me, you remember when I blew up the sun and I like took you to see it? Yeah. Yeah, so, oh, you don't remember? Oh, are you from one of the timelines where you never joined the Discord? I guess. Okay. Now you look just as confused because you did join the Discord. Yeah, it's in the bonuses and outtakes channel. Yeah. Just like look in there, there's other stuff in there. Yeah. What do you mean you don't have Discord? Yeah, that's fine too. Anyways. Yes, dear, loosely defined persons, listener, that I address both personally. You are a good boy. You are a good girl. And most importantly, you're a good fluff. Unless you're a dragon, in which case you're a good scale, lizard person, yeah, same thing. A good feather. No, getting sidetracked. Being in the void too long has its side effects. You shouldn't stay in it for prolonged amounts of time. Like a day or two is fine. It's not going to do anything. Only really starts with proper long-term exposure. Uninterrupted, mind you. The moment exposure is interrupted, the timer basically resets. Yeah. Reality reasserts itself when you leave. If you stay in here too long, humans, such as you, tend to become beings of literally just pure thought. Like, you don't become a ghost per se, but you effectively become a ghost. Like, you become a blob of consciousness. Your physical form kind of just ceases. ceases to be a physical form. To be honest, it has its perks. Like, at that point you have conscious control over your perception of time, which is neat, and said perception of time is not subjective, which is extra neat, so you get like low tier time magic. But also, you're not, like, your original physical form ceases to be as the prolonged exposure unbinds you and the conscious part of you. However, you're still you. You're still your conscious part. Your body, technically, physically, still exists. You just gotta, like, figure out how to make it physical again. Yeah. Don't know what it is, but something about human minds in the void makes them, like, slip into another spatial dimension where you kind of lose physical access to it, but not actually. I know some people who got really, really good at, like, controlling that. It took them like 2-3 years of training to do it, but, like, they got there, and they managed, like, they can walk through walls now. It's kind of funky because they kind of just, they walk up to the wall, and then they turn to the right, and they take a step forward, and then they're on the other side of the wall. Like, yeah, making use of non-Euclidean space to just walk around the wall in a straight line through it. Yeah, fun stuff. And then some other people use it to do funny telekinetic shit. Because, like, yeah, to grab something you must physically grab it. However, if you know how to grab something through, like, a shortcut, like through several other dimensions, then you can grab something from a distance. Is that breaking your brain? Let's explain it with Minecraft nether portals then. So, in the nether, 1 block travelled is 8 blocks travelled in the overworld in Minecraft. Now, if you were to imagine that your hand could go through an invisible nether portal, travel the distance, let's say there's a cup like 2 meters in front of you, and then your hand goes through the portal, travels the 1/8 of the distance through the nether, and then comes out the end on the other side of the portal. And then you can touch the cup, even though it's 2 meters away from you and your arms are not that long. You can grab the cup and lift it. Now, if you get really, really skilled, you can take an extra shortcut and an extra shortcut and an extra shortcut. After a few shortcuts through various dimensions, you can cut down the distance to almost nothing, up to a certain range. And then, well, your physical form, as previously mentioned, is kind of not bound anymore, so you can kind of just grab stuff telekinetically. It's kind of neat. And conveniently, if you pull it back towards you, you go backwards through all of the dimensions, and the object moves towards you. Yeah, it's telekinetics via the void. There's various other flavors too, but that's how the void variant works. Does, however, mean that you're still using your physical, like, body to do it. You don't have, like, stronger power than your body has. Sadly, there's other flavors of telekinetics. Some wizards do it. Like, there's telekinetics as in the field of magics. That stuff has some cool shit. Like, if you want to, like, lift a car with your mind, I guess, mind/wand/staff/hands/magical prowess/whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, I guess, like, become a wizard. Just become a wizard. You want to learn some spells? You want to become a wizard? Oh, look at you. All passed out. Alright. I think I'll just leave you be and join you then.